Hi dear viewer, thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode of Women Engage, where we learn about things that affect modern womanhood at the feet of Jesus. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. And for those who are joining us and from other seasons and other episodes, welcome back to the show. My name is Effie Joanna Tieno, and today we are going to navigate the world of HR. I know we have so many questions about the HR because, number one, they work in a very conflicted space. This is your employer versus your colleague, and it's a very murky situation, and we just want to address all the questions we have about HR and how they handle conflict in the workplace, scenarios they have to deal with in the workplace, and all those questions you have in your mind that you'd want to ask your HR. I am going to ask them on your behalf today. So I would just like my guests to introduce themselves. I'll start with you, Mom.
I'm Margaret Ntero. I work at ECD, but I have been a HR for several years in Adventist University of Africa.
Thank you so much, Margaret. Yes, Jackie.
Thank you, Effie. I'm Jacqueline Obare. I've been working in the HR world for some years too in different organizations, although at the moment I work with ECD in the HR department. Yes.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Karibuni sana, and thank you so much for taking your time to join us. So as we just kickstart this conversation, currently, at least people in my generation and the younger generation, Gen Zs and those coming up, one thing that has been focused on at the moment, or what most people look at, even I myself, when I was looking for a job, I was looking for a healthy working environment. And most people tend to pick a healthy working environment over money nowadays. We are not the generation to, you'll just survive because you get your paycheck at the end of the month. So how do you ensure that in your workplaces you foster a healthy working environment that is attractive to talent, talent that you want to attract? I'll start with you, Jackie.
Thank you. First thing is to ensure that the culture, the organization culture that you create, it has to offer the healthy work environment. Things like discrimination, things like infightings, those bring toxic environments which are not healthy. So as the HR, let me talk on behalf of all the HRs, if you ensure that your culture is, there's nothing to do with discrimination, nothing to do with infightings, you discourage the things that bring conflicts in the environment, you create a peaceful work environment. It all comes with culture. Yeah, if you have a peaceful working culture, of course the environment will be peaceful. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. How about you from your experience?
I think the culture she has talked about is actually very important, number one. And how you create that culture is that you have to have policies that are friendly to people. And also you have to remember that human beings, policies are also made by human beings. And when you see that policies are oppressive to human beings, you would need to revisit them because you might find that in some situation the policy is really suppressing some people or discriminating them or making them feel uncomfortable. The other thing I would say is that you create an environment where people want to work together as a team because human beings are social beings. So if they can't work together as one team and synchronize together, then you'll find that everybody is pulling apart. And that affects people. Also, the way people talk to each other, the way people address issues is very, very important. And sometimes the infighting that can go on in an organization, even if it is probably 2 people or 3 people, there is that effect to the rest of the people who are observing. They say if you're observing people having conflict, you also affected. You are also affected by it, and people after some time feel this is not a good environment I want to be. So it is to minimize conflict, to try and bring together people to work together as a team, and to try to see those things that make people comfortable and want to come to work.
Wow. So I think one thing that's coming out very clearly is it's important to build a good culture in the office,
Yes.
because that not only helps attract new talent, but also retain all talent, because a lot of companies nowadays, the problem is not attracting talent, because many people are looking for jobs, but then high turnover rates, because people come in and they're like, yeah, I can't work in this environment, and it plays a really big role in ensuring people stay there. Now, just to piggyback on this a little bit, what are some of the issues or some of those things that you've had to deal with as HR in the office that you think should be a lesson or have taught you some of the best lessons, like building the work culture? What are the things you've had to deal with or navigate in the office as a HR practitioner in your career to this point?
Some of the issues that I have had to deal with is employees' conflicts, especially a supervisor and the person working under them. Many times the employee may come to you and report to the supervisor. And of course, once the supervisor knows, they are not happy. And they may, some of them even turn it around and actually become worse to the employee. And so the employee is intimidated and doesn't want to come again. And that's what we are talking about, environment. You in the HR office, you may not know because you might have tried to deal with it, but the dynamics that go behind the scenes, before you realize that things are really not better, sometimes sometimes you have to be more observant as an HR, beyond what people tell you. Observe the people who have come to you. How are they moving on? How are they going on? And also have an open door policy, because if you don't have an open door policy, people will be afraid to come to the HR office. The HR office has to be conducive to everybody. You have to make everybody feel that they can be listened to. They are important and their issues are important. And also to assure them that when they come, you actually are going to deal with those issues. Because a lot of complaints also I've heard from employees that why bother talk about it? Why bother write about it? Because some organizations have even suggestion box or where people can write things anonymously. But when people with time realize whether those things are taken seriously or not. So as an organization and as a HR, we have to make sure that the issues people raise up, they are addressed in one way or another. We can't solve all problems, but if people see we are attempting, we are trying, at least they feel comfortable that they are not ignored.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, Jackie.
Yeah, I will pick from a statement that she has said. You know, people refer to us as rubber stamps. We rubber stamp what has been decided by management. I would say that is wrong, because there is a role we also play before rubber stamping what has been given by management. Now, in my experience, the challenge maybe I've faced, the one you were talking about, sexual harassment. Now here comes a point where a lady comes and complains to the HR that her boss is harassing her sexually. And it happens that her boss is also your boss. Now how do you go about it? We have a sexual harassment policy which has to be followed. But in the process of following the policy, you're also putting yourself at risk, because you have to face your boss at some point. It has to be discussed, and he also has to face discipline. Now, your boss also has a boss, maybe, in other situations. Now, I would say that the best thing that we normally do is just to follow the policy, because it is there to be followed to the latter, up to where it will end. Yeah, so at the end of the day, the policy is there to be followed. It guides, and that is what we do.
But I can imagine how difficult it is handling the conflict even in your mind, because this is your boss against your colleague.
It's not easy. It's not easy, because you have also to balance and make sure that everything is done in the correct way.
And I think there's a general feeling that HR is there, and if you'd go on social media and just see the comments, one thing comes out very clearly: HR is employed by the company for the company, not for you. That's a notion that has been going around for as long as I have been in employment. There's that belief that HR is not for you. How do we dispel that rumor? Because from this conversation, it looks like it's a rumor now. You know,
Yeah,
how do we,
it is a rumor.
as HR, and you said it in your previous comment, you have to create an environment where people feel comfortable approaching you. How do we do that so that we dispel with the notion that as HR we are there to represent the interests of the company?
I think first of all, as a HR person, you have to be very independent, and that doesn't come easily. You pay a price for it, because you know, HR is middle management. There are those who are upper
At the top,
and the others who are below you, like the supervisors who have to come to report to you. And you also have the employee. So you're actually stuck in the middle. And because of being stuck in the middle, sometimes you don't please anybody. As much as the employees may be saying you are hired by the company, and so you are doing the biddings of the company, my own experience, I'll tell from my own personal experience, you are also accused by the organization that you are not taking care of your interest. You are so pro employees that so you find while you're trying to navigate the middle ground, that sometimes you never win, because these people feel you are not helping them enough. You are catering for the organization, and the CEOs or the people, your bosses, feel that you are. At one point I was even told, why do you keep talking about employees? Why can't they talk for themselves? And I said, but that's why I have this position, because every employee cannot be going to the senior management to talk to them, but they have to go through an office. And so I think what you do is that you have to have an independent mind and know that you may not please everybody, but do the right thing. That's what I say.
So the hardest part is seeing someone going home. Most people will think, they will not go to reason that it's the management as a whole that they have taken them home, because the letter bears your signature.
Yes, as HR.
Yes. So people will be saying, she chased me away, she fired me, you see. So those are the most challenges that we've been facing, and also where we sit, let me say that's the worst experience. The best is working with people. You get to meet so many personalities. There are those who are good, and there are those who come with their own challenges. At the end of the day, you learn how to deal with each person. Now, as an individual, it teaches you how to deal with each personality. You get more experience, and you also enjoy making decisions, problem solving. You sharpen your skills working in the HR department. Yeah, so you grow every day as you deal with people, as you deal with different situations, the challenges, the growing part. You get to grow every day. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. How about you? What has been the best part from your experience and the worst part?
I think the best part is to see, especially new young people come to employment, and you see them, when they come, they are intimidated, but you see them go through the interviews, get the jobs and the excitement they have, and then you see the growth. When you see them grow and become experts in their areas, it feels good to see that you are part of that process of another human being growing and becoming maybe even better than you. So that to me is very fulfilling. And also teamwork. When you work with people in teams and you see progress, the organization is growing, people are also growing. That has also been very exciting for me. But like Jackie said, I have never liked firing people or writing to them that letter. Many times, even sometimes decision can be made elsewhere. But you are the one to write the letter. So people never get to know that, and there's nothing you can do. You have to. They say, okay, they deal with the issue in where they are, and they say the HR office has to write this letter. So and especially when you see this person, you look at a person as a family person. It's not just that one person. There's a family behind this person. And so, and even when it is justified, maybe somebody did something very wrong that deserves it, you still feel sad for this person, that this has to happen to them and they have to deal with the consequences of it. That's one of the things. The other thing that has made me difficult things that I've encountered is also seeing sometimes people mishandled in the workplace, and you can see somebody is even literally getting sick, physically sick. People start by being psychologically sick, and then when the oppression goes too much, I can call it oppression, when it goes too much, people become physically sick. So when I've seen as, and in those situations where as an HR you're seeing this is not good environment for this individual or this group of people, and probably when you try to talk to those who are putting them in that situation or who can change the environment, they don't see the sense. So you are frustrated because you can't change it yourself, and those who can change it are not changing anything, and human beings are suffering. They are human beings, they are people, they are your colleagues, you have been with them, and it's very, very painful. So those are the challenges that we face. Another challenge I faced myself working is people coming with difficult situations that you don't have a solution. And you try, you go, you can't even sleep, you are thinking about it. How can we solve this issue? And you can't find a solution. That is also a very difficult place you can be as HR, because not everything you get a solution for, but it's disturbing people.
She has just reminded me, you know, that is one challenge that I think most HRs have been having, being a counselor. Like you have to deal with personal issues. I remember in my previous workstation, there's a husband to one of the workers who came to report the wife. Now you see such things. You get yourself dealing with family issues. Yeah, she has just reminded me of that. It is a real challenge. And you know you have to address the person. You cannot chase them away. So you have to get a lot of wisdom to handle such.
So I think there should be mandatory training for HRs to be also counselors. Now, I'm just here wondering, okay, HR, you're the one who signs our termination letters. So who fires HR? But anyway, do you sign your own termination letters or something? But okay, that's just by the way. Now, there's something that you've said. You like seeing young people coming into the profession. They're just joining the workplace, and it's exciting to see that transition to the point where they retire, for example. Some leave to, you know, better workplaces, and you just see them off. What would be the advice that you'd give a young person in the profession from a HR perspective? Because I feel like even me, when I joined the workforce very young, because I started with internships and paid work when I was still in university. And you know, you just draft your CV, you put in your hobbies, you put in your favorite foods. You know, you're just winging it, because you don't have a guide from a HR perspective. So from a HR perspective, what do you look for? And this should help me in my next job interview, should I have any. So this is a cheat code that I'm asking for. What do you look for when picking out, you know, sieving through the CVs and picking out talent? What is the one thing or a few things that you look for that cut across every profession in different areas? I'll start with you and then Mom.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, before employing, we know our needs as an organization, especially when we are looking for a certain position. We know what is required. So when we go out to look for someone, we are looking for someone who's capable of handling that particular position. So there are various things that we will look for. This young person who's applying for this job, I'm assuming is a first time applying for the first time. It is a competitive world. Therefore, you have to be well equipped when going for an interview. Especially when you're designing your CV, you have to check around and know what is supposed to be there and what is not supposed to be there. Yeah, so your CV gives the first impression, because that is the first thing we are going, before we meet you, we are going to meet your CV. So how you structure it is very important, what you put there. And you know, there are these mistakes that young people do. You write something that you have done, which you have not done. You come for the interview, we interview you, ask about it, you start fumbling because you've lied. So if you choose to lie in your CV, go with the lie. Make sure that okay, sorry, I'm not advising people to lie. I'm not advocating for that. But for those who have been making those mistakes, I know most of us have done. We've said that we've worked here, we've not. It's because we are desperate and we need this job.
Yeah.
So make sure that what you've written on your CV, when you come, you are able to represent it very well. And as I said, it's a competitive world. So make sure you know so much about that company. Do enough research of the organization you're applying for, so that sometimes when you come, you know, when you go to the interview the government organizations, they'll ask you, who is the governor, who is what, such questions. Yeah. So they normally tell people, know about the current affairs and all that. It also works the same with the private organizations. They want to know how much you know about the organization. Yeah. And again, I'll also advise the young people, okay, when you go to a new organization, especially ladies, we've had that challenge. Someone will tell you that if you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Those are the challenges young ladies are facing now. You don't have to. You went to school for a reason. You have your academic qualification for a reason. Someone doesn't have to take advantage of you. A man should not tell you to sleep with him for you to get a job. God has your back. Pray to God, he will give you a way. So I just discourage this issue of ladies getting being used by men to get jobs. Wow. Yeah, maybe that's what I can say.
Louder for the people at the back. Thank you so much for that, Jackie.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. I think she has said most of the thing, but the CV is very important because with the CV, that is the first thing employers look at. The HR office looks at the CV. And let me tell you the truth, my own experience. If your CV is too thick and too long, you already get tired before you look at it. For real. Why are you putting so much? And yes, sometimes people have a CV that is like a book. And then also, if it is too scanty, one page, you are wondering, is this person serious? So I would say try to meet the middle ground. Try to make sure that your CV has everything, but you are not putting irrelevant things like your hobbies. They are really not necessary. Employers are not looking for hobbies. They are looking for talents, yes, but they are mainly looking for your academic qualification, your experience, what you know to do. So put those things. Another thing, read the advert. If you read the advert, read it like a book as if you are going for an exam, so that you make sure the things they are looking for in a person, you have highlighted there yourself, so that they stand out to the person. As soon as they look at the CV, the most important things are standing out. Because I've seen some people who write the least important things first and the most important in the middle or at the bottom. And so when somebody sees relevant thing, they might not even look more. So make sure you are putting the most important things first, so that when the person starts to read, they say, this person looks like they are qualified. So they are interested to look more. And another thing I would say is that if you are shortlisted, because after those days shortlisting, and you are called for interview, be confident. Because I've seen a lot of young people, and I know it's lack of experience, but even just know that this is not life and death. It is something you are going to do. It is something that will come and go. Just be confident, be yourself, be honest, like she said, be honest, and also know your facts well. Because sometimes you say something trying to make yourself look good in an area, but remember, in that panel there are experts in that area. They are experts in that area, because organization will bring experts in that area. So if you try to make yourself like you know too much, and the experts start to ask you more deep questions because you showed you know, then you are not able to answer them. You put yourself in trouble already. But if you try to show that you know something, and you're not trying to impress too much, and then it's good. Because I've seen also people, and when you are working so hard to impress, people notice it. They notice it right away. So it's not just answering the question, it's your demeanor, and it's the way you're going about it.
Wow, thank you so much.
Just to add something I forgot. Now we have these the young people who have just come out of school. They're looking for employment. I think those are the ones we are talking about. Now, There are those who sit and apply and wait for jobs to come by. Nowadays, there are no jobs. So the advice I would give, start somewhere. Go for internship, do something for free. Volunteer somewhere. When you expose yourself to the world, opportunities will come faster than when you're seated at home waiting for an employer somewhere. You know, nowadays when employers are looking for people, you'll hear 5 years experience, 3 years. Where will you get that experience if you don't go out to volunteer or do something or
That
even
counts.
get something small out of what you're doing? So once you have that experience, you stand able to compete with other people in the interviews. Yeah, you know, those are the mistakes that people have been doing. You are fresh from school, you are seated at home on social media. In a day you apply one job, you will stay at home until you get out and look for that job. Yeah, so that's what I just wanted to say. Go, volunteer, do something. While you're there, an opportunity will come your way. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Good things come to those who seek, right?
Yes.
And this is the point where we have to be very aggressive, especially as young people trying to, because the job market, it's saturated somewhat, and you have to make yourself stand out. But you don't oversell yourself, and then you ask questions by experts, you know, PhD level questions with your undergraduate degree. So thank you so much for coming and for the insights that you've given, especially to young people like myself, those who are trying to get themselves into the workforce and also trying to navigate while they're already in there. And I think it's very important to have these conversations with HR and just listen from your side of the story, because most of us just look at HR as management and just judge you from afar. So thank you so much for being open and willing to come here and just talk to us about it. And for those who are out there, HR is not the enemy. You have an issue in the office, you have an issue in the workplace, go to your HR. They're the only people you can go to before you get to management. So thank you so much for taking your time and joining us. And for you, dear viewer, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. And we hope to see you in our subsequent conversations. I don't think I have anything else to add. I am not a HR practitioner. I wouldn't have anything valuable to add. But in life we say, what do we say? Kujituma. You have to send yourself out there, you know, and opportunities will come. Good things do not come to those who just sit in the house. You have to also go looking for them. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you in our subsequent episodes. And if you've not watched any other of our episodes, please go back, find us on social media, Hope Media Network ECD, and you can find our previous episodes, and on TV you can find us on Hope Channel. So thank you for joining us once again. My name is Effie. That's all from us. Goodbye.